So this video is a little bit different, and it starts with question. Well, actually, a few different questions. Where are we going? What are we doing? What's the plan? And the thing is, I make tons of videos for Harmony. I usually have the answers to those questions. But actually what you want is to hear from Stephen Tse, from the CEO of Harmony, the man with the vision. And just in the recent weeks, we have refocused our energies on a specific category, which is cross-chain. And I felt that it was probably wise to get Stephen in front of the camera, to ask him some questions, and to really dig deep into his vision for cross-chain and why he thinks this is so important for Harmony and why he thinks it's so important for blockchain as a whole. Now, I know the community is in probably the best shape it could be right now, and we need more of this kind of content, more insight into what Stephen's thinking. So we will be doing more of these videos in the future. There is an AMA coming up today. If this is in the past, sorry, it's already happened. But this is good ground-breaking material. This is the way that we prep the ground for that AMA so that you at least have some sense of where we're going. And then when the AMA itself actually happens, you can ask him questions informed and knowing what's going on. So enjoy the interview. I hope it's at least some kind of insight into what's in Stephen's head. We certainly had an interesting time discussing the topics and discussing what's there. But yeah, enjoy. It's half an hour. Shouldn't be too much of your time. Enjoy. Okay, so Stephen, a week ago you published a Medium article. And in that Medium article, you proposed a new governing principle, a new set of ideas to take us through Q4 into 2021. Can you tell me how you got to that idea and why it's so important for you right now?
Well, thank you, Robin, but also thanks for listening, the Harmony community. I think this is a great time for us to really find a great focus for the community to hang on to this project, but also for the team to now reflect on what we have done and what are the opportunities in the market. Why now is very simple. I was actually planning out to hash out the idea so that become our big 2021 coming out story. But I do think that what we managed to learn the last 4 months, if not the market too, really come to the point that actually there can be a strong position, if not like a strong opinion to come out, even as a base layer protocol, even as some project like us that have been in the market for 2 years, to say, wow, this is really our journey. And why now and why this topic? We actually want to pose it as we have been an open development project. Can we actually iterate this idea in the open, both internally and externally, honestly? That we really wish that, it was like more like testing in production, like just tweet out a few ideas and get a lot of conversation and gather the point of facts. But writing a Medium article, at least for people to know that these are some of the, I would say, actually even hypotheses that we are experimenting, that the team really need to say, wow, we are not just a base protocol in an isolated ecosystem anymore. They are not just a big opportunity, but they're also where the market is going. It's so exciting, I would say. I honestly know that there are a lot to digest. I honestly know that both the team and the community haven't heard us put it in such a way, but I think this is the perfect timing.
So I guess the question is this a moment of existential crisis for layer ones in general? You know, we're talking everyone, Algorand, Solana, you name it. Is this the moment where layer ones have to front up to the reality that the Ethereum moat is too big, and that actually we need to think in a very different way about what is possible with this technology, and then almost think like product developers, like think product rather than protocol. Is that where we're heading with this?
Absolutely. Users, if not utility, right? To use the word revenue or like transaction fees, you may feel very dirty. But what you said about product and users are the same thing, right? And by the time we have to talk about, is there really value, if not even meaning of what we do day to day? I mean, we're very busy, we're very productive, we're heads down and shipping, but is there really meaning of our mission and journey? Is real. And I would say, I will agree with you, it's an identity crisis, not just for Harmony. We said many times that there are lots of great thinkers like Placeholder Chris that talk about what is all these base protocols doing, even beginning of the year. I fully agree with you. That I would even extend it to be broader. I actually don't think it's about base protocol. But even Ethereum, right? I mean, all these few thousands of people are having fun launching whether meme or few or many. It's okay, right? I mean, we're one. We're fewer than few. We're one, right? That I love the excitement. But the existential crisis is even what we even knew last year during the winter time again, that asked, can we extend things beyond crypto? We're barely able to even talk to other blockchain and crypto community. Can we even go beyond crypto? It's really keep me up at night.
Well, the reason I came and worked with you in the first place is because I was posing this question: can we throw the idea of blockchain, the idea of Harmony, into what I called the realosphere, which is connecting it to the world of real humans, real needs, real use cases? And for me, it's a communications problem. For you, it's also a communications problem because we have to communicate with other things, other technologies. So we're both dealing in the language of communication, and it's communication that trips us up constantly, which is why we're having this conversation. So can you communicate to me now, in a single sentence, what your vision for cross-chain is?
Cross-chain is the must-do first step. We must lead to cross fiat gateways, cross exchanges, cross-border businesses. And what you said about communication is real, right? Why Bitcoin, if not blockchain, consensus problem that we are finally dealing with now, actually is very great analogy for the human protocols. We all want to serve the one, right? I want my audience, you, to understand what can Harmony do, what can blockchain do, but we must serve the all of humans, the 10 billion people. And don't take it as just an ambitious or a grand vision, but we must keep that in mind. There's really no point serving a few thousands of people if not building a product that will only work in US. Just no point. I would call it a failure of blockchain, because Bitcoin day one is actually usable and mineable by everyone. That all these projects, to use the word decentralization, people understand already, but they really forgot the mission, the purpose, the utility must work for 10 billion people in the future. And coming back here, people, of course, keep asking us, what you ship today, what product can I use today? It's also real. Can you, which is one human, use and understand the mission and the purpose? Is real. I must do that, right? That's why to say that it's for one and for all, it's easy to say, but we must be able to communicate for all and build efficient, communicate to one, but also build for all that are the purpose of the blockchain.
So let's bring it down. So what does that look like? You know, I went through the Medium. I went to the Medium article and I looked at it, and I understand what you're articulating and I understand it, but there has to be, beyond the hypothesis, a kind of idea of what that looks like. So I think that's the hard bit that wasn't in the Medium article. It's like, can you describe in production to a degree what that actually looks like?
To talk about what Harmony wants to do next and what the community can hear is really a big challenge, right? Are you an investor looking at the perspective and potential of Harmony? Are you a technical developer that I can tell you what are the technical things that you can build on and do? Are you the person that need to understand what product is coming out and we can use? Is really getting lost. Most people actually don't even know DeFi and yield farming and liquidity pool mining enough to understand like why we are getting into Uniswap. We're putting onto Uniswap, why we're doing the DeFi hackathon. And then most people haven't really talked about cross-chain enough, even though it has been a big narrative of why BTC must connect with Ethereum. And finally, we get to it this year to a few WBTC and TBTC like finally launched now. The next step. Ethereum is not going to connect with Cosmo and Polkadot by themselves, but like these two big projects, Cosmo and Polkadot, must connect to Ethereum, right? And in some way, that's what Harmony is finally at a stage to talk about that vision. It's one thing to talk about why don't we bring more users, developers, and asset to the Harmony ecosystem. Where are they now? What else do they need to do once they have a fork and have a demo, and we can also execute Uniswap just the same? They actually want to be able to have that bridge with the rest of the world. And the first step has to be with you.
One of the hardest things about being a layer one is that your job is actually to create fertile ground. You're there to create the opportunity for people to build and take what's in their heads and do it successfully. And where we're sort of hitting the buffers with Ethereum is that people have these great ideas and they deploy them on Ethereum because that's where the liquidity is and that's where the users are and all these other metrics, which should be fairly portable, but they're not. And so when people say, well, why cross-chain? They're sort of missing the point, which is in great evidence with yield farming, is when somebody says you can do this, a vast number of people go and do it, not because they want to or because they think it's cool, they just do it because they can. And so literally what we're in the business of doing is plumbing together different things to allow water to flow, to make the ground more fertile, to say to people, you can. And in that moment when you say you can, somebody will and somebody else will. And it's that weird just allowing value to flow, ideas to flow. And I think that is ultimately what you're talking about with cross-chain. It's allowing talent, ideas, value to flow into Harmony and then find something cool when they get there. And then that kind of brings us back to bridges. So talk me through bridges.
What the bridges allow us to do would open up the 100x more opportunity than just playing our own fertile ground. Because our program have some tools and some demos to start already. The second reason really come back to, wow, finally the world can build bridges, have been building bridges. The technology, they call it the lifelines, and I'm happy to go into a lot deeper because that's what our research and both product research and technical research have really give us much clearer idea. The light client, trustless bridges. People talk about like swapping asset and have been building BTC and ETH bridges like swaps for a long time. Finally, there are some very meaningful trustless bridges that really come to the market. And I would honestly say that's how my framework is actually very simple in 3 words. Or 2 words, depending on how you say it. Team, product, market fit. It's what actually some of the greatest way of thinking about whether a team, you call it startup or a new blockchain, have a way of evaluating what should they do. Honestly, this market is not just for Harmony to help advance. So what the Harmony team can do really should evaluate in Harmony context. We are great, we have launched our mainnet, we have some demo already, product. The user are really asking for it. Market. Finally, quite a few players and quite a few researchers come up with great prototypes. Can we productionize it?
Let me use another analogy, because DeFi loves a money Lego. They love saying composability. And I don't think people really understand what that means, but it's like you've got this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, and then you plug them all together. In a sense, what you're saying is Harmony as an ecosystem, as a thing, is another form of Lego that you can plug in. You just need the right connectors. Do you think we're there? Do you think it's feasible? Do you think it's cheap enough yet to merit people giving it a go?
I love analogy, and I love if you say a word that everyone understands. Lego is actually a great one. Composability is actually a very technical word that actually fully apply here. So I can go a lot deeper too. As a matter of fact, programming composability is what functional programming studied for the longest time, which is actually my PhD research and thesis topic. So I would love to go crazy on that topic as well. Just using that analogy. But Lego is actually a great word. So you ask whether it works. Is there value? Would that be a stupid experiment? Because a gas fee of having that bridge and pushing it back to Ethereum is so expensive. Should we even try? The question is yes. The answer is yes. What is the biggest hypothesis that we need to test? Still seeing us as a startup, as someone that still have the capital, resources, but the gut to experiment, I'll say before this big change, as a matter of fact, this is what Ethereum is doing, Cardano, everyone's doing. We know that this is their hypothesis. If not, that's their vision too. We must take ourselves as day one to take the biggest opportunity to experiment. And we have a good chance of success, but also lots of things to figure out. As you said, wouldn't that be too expensive for the bridge? Why would anyone come? They have so much fun at Ethereum and all the yields. It's true. It's true. This execution plan, and I can happy to say these are a few things that we evaluate. These are a few things that we think still would work out despite the cost. These are a few reasons, even though Uniswap is beautiful now and it will still grow 10x more, that there must be a reason why we should figure out cross-chain Uniswap.
I went in Telegram today and I asked people for questions for you. Let's dig in. So number one, there seems to be a shift in direction with the new roadmap. Is Harmony moving away from CrossFi and steering more towards DeFi products? Can we get clarity with regards to how much of a focus CrossFi is in Q4 / the near future?
That's a great one. CrossFi is a big topic. There's a reason why I roll out that roadmap so that people are not lost. Are we lost and trying to find a lifer? Or are we still sticking to really serving non-crypto people? And if you read the very, very end to it, well, the third session of it is why we talk about cross-exchange pools that have non-crypto usage in business to help people manage the cash flow, what can be the use cases for really understanding asset that are non-crypto. I think it will really take another time to unpack, but we still believe the CrossFi, probably not in Q4, but I strongly believe that crypto use cases in whether on-demand liquidity or integrate with exchange because they are fiat gateway is still our story there.
Let's move on. What values can a base protocol with 5-second finality and hundreds of validators bring to the DeFi sphere? I think it's a pretty obvious answer, but I'm going to let you answer this one.
Yeah, well, that's what I actually posted. Thanks for repeating the important question. What can Harmony, if not similar, baseball can provide? We are a fertile ground for forking the Ethereum project onto us, and which is what we have done. And we have proven that. And the value is very clear that we are easier to even to prototype and deploy and experiment. And the transaction is real. And there could be some small ecosystem. I'm talking about NFT marketplace that already happened. And we will be coming up with some launch that really to push it to the next level. C-Swap, the curve and the balancer demo can take it to the next level that it really lives on its own great community on its own. Next one has to be about Bridge.
Next question, how decentralized is Harmony at the moment, and what is the progress so far on decentralized governance?
Not as far as I would like. Honestly, looking at what we wish to be with our validator, with our governance structure, even with the team, is what we must focus far more. Next year, we must get as far as what even Synthetic with the DAO, for sure, Yearn, because they're a small team and immediate decentralized year that came out with very early on, even though the mainnet haven't enabled transfer and application on mainnet, but to think earlier. Our VP of Engineering, Leo, is fully on that. And as a team, 2021 must be our full milestone to hit.
In the last Medium post about the roadmap, Stephen compared Harmony to Polkadot and Cosmos. I knew that was going to come up. Not only with regards to market cap, but also awareness, number of developers, and on-chain activity. The latter are obviously on a different level. So what are the concrete steps to catch up?
To catch up Cosmos and Polkadot, right? Yeah, why we are comparing ourselves to Ethereum 2 years ago, and why we are comparing ourselves to Cosmos in terms of the staking earlier this year, and now why are we comparing ourselves to the DeFi ecosystem and the bridges that Cosmos and Polkadot to build is great, right? We are still a very ambitious bunch of Silicon Valley or global team. We still have the resources to build our bridges as good as what Polkadot and Cosmos building today is absolutely yes. We must figure out that our biggest opportunity is still why this broad vision of blockchain is building. I even talk about what Ethereum 3 wants to be. Right? We must keep reminding ourselves whether Ethereum or Polkadot, our dream is the same. Right? We must put these cryptographic primitives, we must build these bridges, we must have this via gateway. Not because Harmony have a bigger dream that doesn't befit us, that we can or cannot build. It's because this is our journey together.
I have a question about the Sandbox partnership. What can we expect from the Sandbox partnership? What is the goal? And are there already prototypes or any other activities?
NFT and gamings. We do know the story with Animoca and Quid, and now Sandbox. It's a long-term narratives of what blockchain must figure. What people are just trading DeFi and yield farming and all these financial smart contract experiment will happen on NFT as well. And it's already happening as collateral, as some of the yield and Andre of Yearn will put it on smart contract to put it at pools and arbitrage away. What we want to do though, we still believe about the branded asset story. And Mocha has finally come out really strongly, whether many of the F1 race cars auction recently and what they are really be able to put the Sandbox with the IEO is beautiful. The long term, what my mom and mainstream people can associate for sure it's not just about a few makeup digital art, but branded asset of mainstream like collectibles that now digitally is still very meaningful. But what Harmony will be able to do is getting more competitive now. We'll come out with some initiative, and we're very happy that Sandbox will allow us to be part of the base protocol they will consider. And Mocha is still a very strong partner of us to help them experiment what other base protocol that are really even compatible they can just put onto. It's a great narrative to come out. But what product is really determining the market that is it still on Ethereum? Clearly no. Right? No one wants to trade NFT on Ethereum anymore. And what Sandbox allow us to do is they are really generating lots of great content, crypto voxel, OpenSea is doing great. We don't have a specific thing to announce, but what we have done like 3 months ago now, even our team feel very excited about the NFT marketplace, even as simple as an emoji, something as a soccer player card, really tied to the people. And the whole bigger story about branded asset, we can't wait for it to unfold.
You know, and I guess the last question I have for you is, it is related to the community, because we are somehow, the sentiment around this community has gotten to a point where it's unsustainable at this level, and we have to rehabilitate it. That is on us. We have to work hard to do that. How do you feel about the community at the moment, and what can you tell them to say, you know, that they're not ignored, that they're heard, that they are valued? I think that's the most important thing. You know, what can you say to them right now?
What can this community still hang on to? What I still see that this project can have a strong community to be with us, both short-term and long-term, honestly. Short-term, we must really tell the community that there's still things that we are building every day, shipping every month, that why they will still be in this journey. We are finally having POps fully integrated with the team for a few months now, that we strongly believe they are our advocates for everything technical, testnet, ops now. Can our community be our governors of our grants and product that come out that actually have a say for sure the direction? We must let them. Without participation, they are just demand without, I wouldn't say work, just like participation, that we could have done far more. Some of them have done it, not regular or not full-blown enough. The next thing is we must tell them why this team still want to go crazy for 2, 3, 5 more years. Honestly, some people may not believe that in a base protocol or the DeFi, we still have a say in it. So telling them what we're going to do in Q4 for sure next year, do they still align with our vision? Is what Peter come out, right? It's one thing to say that you bought our token 2 years ago, last year, be part of our journey. Whoever that stated, I truly believe that they still wanted to be this journey. They still believe that we are making meaningful impact, but they may not know. Without this roadmap, what could they have hang on to is what we told them earlier this year. And I think it's a very powerful message with the community that we take their feedback, but what do they get from us has to be very meaningful and tangible.
Do you kind of have a marquee product or DApp that you would like to really just see happen on Harmony, and then from there it kind of opens doors? Have you got something in mind that perhaps?
Absolutely. Something that we can look forward to hopefully in coming months, but also really, really about the next stage, not just about what we could have also done that everyone have done, but also something so far future that you really cannot use. The cross-chain Uniswap on Harmony will really be our key product.
So that was a 27-minute edit of what was actually an hour and a half conversation. And my original plan was to do it as a live stream. That probably isn't the best format for Stephen and how we converse, but I'm thinking that in the future we can do more of these kind of things and just give you guys, the community, a little bit more proximity to Stephen and what's in his head. I know it can be tough at times. This is a very bewildering industry. There's a ton of information asymmetry out there, but we're trying. And I actually would welcome your feedback. Tell me what you would like more of. Tell me what you would like to do differently. Because I feel like in many ways, I can be that translation layer, that conduit between what Stephen's thinking and what you want to hear. So don't be shy. Let me know. If you have criticisms, direct them my way. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.